You wake up at 8 o'clock with the sun streaming in through the blinds. As you take your leisurely shower, you listen to the radio and you hear rush hour traffic's a bit of a nightmare. Perhaps the trains are on strike. Good thing you don't have to jump in the car and head to the office, right? In fact, you don't have to go to the office at all. Sure, you've got 2 deadlines to make by the end of the day, but hey, that's 9 hours away. At the moment, the more important question seems to be coffee at home or a cappuccino from your favourite cafe down the street. Does this sound like your typical morning? If so, you are living the dream of working from home. But that is only half the battle. Being able to stay productive, keep on top of things, and not go days without IRL, in real life, human interaction are all challenges facing us as we all work from home. Fortunately, that's why I made this video, so you can have my 7 tricks to working from home like an absolute boss. So rather than waffle on about how good working from home is, because it's probably epic by the way, let's just dive straight in. Number 1, be consistent. This is all about keeping a consistent schedule that works for you. This is about allowing people to know when you are and are not available. I mean, the latter being just as important as the former. It doesn't have to be set in stone, but try to keep it as consistent as possible so people around you know when they can reach you, and if necessary, you can give a quick reply. One way to do this is to create your schedule around when the majority of your team is online and when you're most productive. This may take time to work out and probably will result in a few missed meetings or a couple of anxious moments, but don't let that stop you from finding the right balance. During this time, try to be as active and responsive as possible in chats or other communication channels during that team overlap window. This is often called core hours and can more easily be identified in the older ways of working when dealing with teams in different time zones. I mean, once you have your core time locked down, you can then schedule your deep work for outside these times and align to when you're feeling most productive. For example, if my team is most active in the morning, I'm typically always paying attention to chat during that time. Then, because I like working in the evenings and I don't have kids or childcare responsibilities, I tend to do all of my deep work into the evening when it's quiet and no one is around. It's all about finding what works for you. Now, one thing to note here is don't let yourself feel guilty about not working. This is a hangover from the office which revolves around presenteeism. Now that remote working focuses on outputs, whether you do the work in 1 hour or 8 hours is up to you as long as you deliver on time. As I said to my teams, if you have 5 hours work and you do it in 3, then kudos to you. Take the other 2 hours. Do something different. Go for a walk, see a friend, or if you want to start something new. But this is your choice. When outputs and deliverables are the goal, how long or little it takes is your prerogative, as long as you do deliver. Otherwise, all bets are off. Now, number 2 is about forcing yourself to stay focused. Okay, I accept this is easier said than done, but we do need to stay focused when working from home. Everyone knows that focus is an important ingredient for success, and that severe procrastination can derail even our most well thought out projects. Unfortunately though, that knowledge alone is not always enough to force us to focus. So in cases where extreme productivity, read focused effort, is required, I suggest getting a little outside help. Why fight this without using the tools at your disposal? Pun fully intended. I have no idea why you wouldn't, so let me invite you into my world of focus with 3 must-have tools. Strict workflow. This Chrome plugin is a simple way to try out the Pomodoro technique, a proven method that has you take 5-minute breaks after 25 minutes of focused work increments. Once installed, a simple click on your browser bar starts a timer for 25 minutes, distraction-free work. During this time, the plugin blocks all commonly distracting sites like Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and Reddit, and you can customize your settings to add your personal guilty pleasures. If you try to visit these sites, you'll get a general reminder to get back to work. And at the end of 25 minutes, a timer rings and starts a 5-minute break. All you then need to do is rinse and repeat for a productive day. Happy days, in fact. Now, the other one is called Full Screen One Tab. Now, I must admit this is one of my favourite focusing tools because it's actually built into almost every computer, but widely underutilised. The most distracting thing about using computers are all the tabs and apps and bouncing icons with notifications. So sometimes all you really need is a visual cue of where to focus your attention. In here. Whether I'm working in Word, Brave Browser or Final Cut Pro, it always helps me to open just the file I need or just the one tab if you're in a browser, and then use the Enter Full Screen mode. All you need to do is press Function F on a Mac, and it takes up a full screen. I'm sure you will see the difference. Just add the plugin to Chrome or Brave, which is my favourite internet browsing tool, depending on which one you use. Now the third one of these three is just getting offline. Yep, you guessed it. This isn't a tool per se, but when all else fails, I suggest taking a break from your screen. Pick up a notebook. Write down the number one thing that you need to do at the top of the first page, and just go and find yourself a quiet place to work. If your desk isn't doing it for you that day, try a change of scenery, go to a coffee shop, go to a park around the corner, or just perhaps a couch or a different place in the office. I've even found inspiration from just sitting at a different colleague's desk and seeing the office from a different perspective. Now, I prefer to use my computer rather than going offline, but it is good to have options, and every once in a while, it helps unlock and maintain focus for me. Now, number 3 is about getting ready for work. According to researchers, clothing affects people's mental processes and perceptions, and I can easily believe it. It's one of the reasons I tend to spend some time getting ready in the morning, even if I'm just putting on a pair of Lululemon shorts and a gym top, like this one. I always get ready for the day. Okay, I might not need to do my hair and makeup, although crack on if that's your flavour. Taking a few minutes to get ready mentally sets me up for the day. Regardless of when I'm leaving the house, it makes me feel more productive and like I'm ready to hit the ground running when I leave the house. I think it's also good because it gives me some time to actually wake up before just hopping online and trying to get straight out of bed into work mode. I know how important this is to me, which is why I've built in my workouts into my daily routine. Going to the gym first thing in the morning means I get out of bed at the same time every day, no matter whether I'm going into the office or staying at home. This allows me to mentally get set for the day, but also, as I've had to leave the house, I need to get dressed too. Granted, the odd day I've left the house in baggy tracksuit pants and a hoodie, but this doesn't happen very often. Some days I even put on nicer clothes. Think smart shirts, maybe just to make yourself feel good, because sometimes, self-consciously, it just reminds me that I need to stay from the kitchen all day, and it just makes me feel good. Why not try that too? Number 4 is love what you do. Now, I know I've talked about should you do what you love in previous videos, and I'd highly recommend checking out this link here. But to be honest, this tip is vital if you want to be successful when working from home. Whether your employer or friends tell you or not, remote work tends to be more work, so you must truly enjoy what you're doing most of the time. This is because you can find yourself in front of your laptop at either end of the day, or in my case, more likely to be in the evening, just finishing something off. Which happens, to be quite honest, more often than not, which is why we need to stay accountable and be self-directed. While you should do this for any job, it's especially important that remote workers embody these attributes and stay organised and set deadlines for yourself so people don't around have to hound you for updates or deliverables. This just undoes all the good work that you can do when working from home. Now, number 5 is don't work in bed. Ever. Personally, I just don't get it. I don't understand how people can get comfortable when working in bed, but much to my dismay, many people can. Don't be one of them unless you want your sleep to be interrupted, and you might sleep worse. Why, you ask? Well, because after repeatedly using something for a certain purpose, our brains begin to associate an object with that purpose. So just imagine when you work from bed 1 or 2 days a week, then things can begin to happen negatively. You'll tend to fall asleep while working, or at least you could get sleepy while working. Your brain will also begin to disassociate your bed with sleep, making it more difficult for you to actually fall asleep when you want to go to bed. It's all a bit confusing, but really it doesn't appeal to me. Plus, the laptops get super hot, and I just don't fancy having that on my crown jewels for hours on end every day. Now, number 6 is about being sociable. It is easy to lose track of time and get lost in your own world when working from home. This is why I strongly believe it helps to have a group or a few where you can turn to for advice or vent to about work with like-minded people who empathise with your work lifestyle. At this point, highly check out the Hoxby Collective or the Work-Style Revolution. They are amazing, and if you are working from home, please do check them out, because they are just leading a work revolution, or a work-style revolution, because it's all about working from home. Anyway, but because I have joined a writing community and stay in touch with other people I know outside of work, I think it's important to have a variety of connections. Relationships are what makes the world go round, and working from home doesn't mean you should miss out. Why not join a Slack community or stay in touch with co-workers from previous gigs? I mean, I do both. Once you go remote, you never really go back. There's no doubt about it. Once you work remotely, you'll never want to work from an office again. That's how it was for me anyway. Again, though, working remotely requires a different skill set and work ethic than most office workers are accustomed to. Hopefully by now you'll feel ready to utilize this perk and be wildly successful remote employee. But here comes number 7, because this one is one of the hardest to remember. Because number 7 is, don't fret. When you first start working from home, there will be 2 temptations. Firstly, that you should always be working, and secondly, when you're not working, you'll feel guilty about it. In fact, if you want to know how I banish guilt when working from home, check out this video here. There is no doubt that working from home requires a mindset shift. Some take to it more quickly than others, but it can be a slow process. Stepping out to the pharmacy, picking your kids up during the day, or going for a coffee mid-morning are all work from home options. These activities may not have been freely available before, so it is easy to feel guilty about it. But don't. As long as you are delivering the output as required, how and when you do the work is in your gift, within reason and as agreed with your boss. Just don't take the piss. Working from home is about trust, so don't give anyone reason not to trust you. That said, you were never expected to be sat behind your desk every day, all day when you're in the office, so there's no reason why it would be the same now. Now, working from home can be exciting, empowering, and even profitable, provided that you are realistic about the pros and cons. Whether you are a freelancer, a company part-timer, or a full-time employee who just doesn't hit the office on certain days or at all, it's all a way to escape the daily grind of commuting. But added responsibilities come with freedom, not to mention planning, foresight, self-discipline, and focus. And yes, hours of uninterrupted hard work. As many home-based employees will tell you, it's not easier to work from home. It's just a different location. And that's it. If you like this video, I would highly recommend this one here, where I talk about how to avoid FOMO, the fear of missing out when you're working from home. I hope it won't happen to you, but I would rather you know how to avoid it and never need it than it happen and then think, what the fuck do I do? So with that, have a watch, have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.